The content of the mind is vastu, is silence, awareness. Mind is a flow of thoughts. Each thought is a name and a form. Nama, Rupa, plus awareness, silence. Just as the ocean is made up of waves, and each wave is a name and a form, plus H2O. The swarupa of the wave is water. In the same way, the swarupa of each thought is awareness, manifested in the thought. So, let the thoughts appear and disappear. And just be silent, awareful. Constantly present, witnessing the flow. Sounds, smells, touches, tastes, visions. All manifest in the mind as thoughts. My voice is a ripple, a thought, part of your mind, flow. The sounds, the words rise and fall. And they have their existence in silence, awareness. Abide in silence. 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 Awareness. Awareness. Before any thought, you are aware of the absence of thought. As a thought manifests, you are aware of the presence of the thought. Then the thought goes away. And of its absence, you're conscious also. Any mood, any sensation, any ideation rises, exists, and disappears. But silence, awareness, is before, during, and after the experience. That awareness, that consciousness, you are. That is what this pramana, the Bhagavad-Gita, helps us see. Lord, protect us both. May your study be fruitful. May we exert together. May we not quarrel with each other, and may the vision of the teaching bless our lives and the lives of those around us. Lord, let there be peace, peace, peace. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavai Tejasvina Vaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, so we're going to continue on with the is that the third chapter of the Gita? It is, huh? Third chapter of the Gita. What page did we leave on?
423.
423, huh?
Last Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And decided not to have Sunday, but Saturday we make it. I wasn't. No? Oh.
Okay,
It's start the real meaning of Bhakti.
the real meaning of Bhakti.
I thought I missed it.
Now let's see, this is loading, and we'll see and get that page in a second. The real meaning, that's, what size again, what page again?
423.
423. $400. Very good. 413, 421, 422. And we said something about Bhakti before. Does anybody remember what we talked about? Is it different from Karma Yoga? Is it something separate from Karma Yoga? Is it different?
No.
What do you mean no?
Bhakti,
In what sense it's not?
it's
It is
just-
karma.
It is part of the Karma Yoga, but in Bhakti is you're invoking, part of the Bhakti, you're recognizing Ishwara as in your process of daily work, doing the karma.
Okay, so there could be no Karma Yoga without Bhakti. As a matter of fact, Karma is Bhakti Yoga.
Yeah.
Why? Because, you see, you have to remember that. Because for Karma Yoga, the definition of Karma Yoga, you know what Karma Yoga is what a seeker of freedom, moksha, mumukshu, has mumukshutvam. Someone that has the arding or burning desire for people to be free. Then has this yoga, it's called Karma Yoga, that actually helps to purify the antakarana, in other words, the inner equipment, the mind, isn't it? And purification in terms of what? The agitations. And we say, the scripture says that can happen, by having what? To release the results of your actions, the karma phala, to the actual giver of the results of the actions.
Can we say it again?
To release the results of the actions, because every action that we do, we say it is my action, and then the result is mine, isn't it? Good or bad? Is that true? It is true.
You want to own it.
Right, we own the action. Now, Of course there is a karta, there is someone that does. And that's no problem, that you are the karta. Okay? The karta means the doer. You have that sense, being the karta. But then, the results of the actions are not really yours. Is it true?
Yep.
I talk, and then that you listen is up to you. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I come, that you decide to come is also up to you. In other words, and then, so the crisis takes place, and the results is up to you. You know, or if there's no earthquake or whatever it is. I have no control over the results. I have only what? Control over what?
What I do.
Of the actions, isn't it?
Yeah.
I am free to act. I have volition, as they say. So therefore, what gives me the results?
Karma.
No, karma brings about the action, and there's a karma phala, which is a result of karma. Okay, where do the results come from?
The Lord.
Ishwara, the Lord, God. Isn't it? Now, I made an example once. If I come to your home and you say, Louis, use the house for a vacation. And then you're not here. But then the refrigerator is stocked up. There's drinks over there. There's food over there. You turn the gas and the how do you call this, the heat comes on and everything. The lights are on. I open the door can be open and closed and all that. And I get a key. And I don't see the giver. But then, why should I head to the person that allowed me to have a vacation in your home? Should I have just, well, no. I mean, it is grace, isn't it? Is it not grace that you can let me spend a whole week and save myself $100, $200 a day in hotel bills? And then food bills and everything else? So, it is grace. I didn't do that. I mean, I might have asked maybe. But you gave it to me. It is grace. So, in other words, so I come here. Look at this, please. You and I come here. And we perform actions. My mother and my father perform the action, they're getting together. And I am the phala. Isn't it? Where did this come from? Well, my mother and my father, yes, but that action, could have been something else, isn't it? Or not being able to fructify the way they wanted. Or nothing could happen, there would be no Luis. Correct? So I am what? The phala of my mother and father getting together. Isn't it? What makes it possible? So I am a gift to my father and mother, if they look at it like that. That's what they call children in India, prasad. Prasad means what?
The gift.
It's a gift. So, and then whenever there's a gift, there's someone gracing you with that gift, isn't it? So the karma yogi, the ones that seeks freedom, moksha. And moksha in terms of understanding something, and coming to know something. For it to become karma yogi, for karma yoga, needs to have the recognition of the giver of the results of the actions, isn't it? And that attitude, listen please, is an attitude of what? Love. It's called bhakti. Is that true? There could be no karma yoga without bhakti, please. It's not something separate. Have that clear. So, to be a karma yogi is to recognize Ishwara's grace. You see the idea? And then what will that do? Now, before, if I was doing something and success came, I became inflated. And I was looking for recognition. And then you did something and you're also looking for recognition, so you want me to give it to you first. So there is this tug of war, who gives recognition to whom? And then if you give me recognition because you're expecting me to give you recognition, and so on and so on. And then if I don't give you enough recognition, or if you don't give me enough recognition, I got a problem. And I'm wondering, are they going to give me recognition? Let me tell you. So I tried to figure a way to tell you what I did. if it was great. Because look at what I achieved. And I say, I am the karma phala. I am the one that gave the karma phala, that the producer of the results. So therefore, if the thing came out wrong, then I try to hide it. Because I did it. Isn't it? I'm going to lose, how do you call this? You're going to see me as less. And I don't want to be seen as less. So then I'm wondering if you're going to find out about it. And what is that? If I'm seeking recognition, or if I'm afraid of you're going to find out of the mistakes that I made, I am owning the results of my actions, isn't it? Is that right? And that will definitely bring conflicts. And that will bring, I am samsari. Samsari means someone that has a yo-yo syndrome, is going up and down like a yo-yo. But then if I'm seeking self-knowledge, okay, watch this. Then I say, hey, the nature of myself is this Brahman, which is Satyam. And this universe, as I see, is Brahman's expression. So it is Ishwara that gives the Lord. Call it Krishna, Ishwara, Jesus, whatever you want to call him. Is the giver of the resource. It is God's grace. So that immediately becomes the Bhakti, a loving attitude. See, and when I relate to you, also you relate to me, then I see that the laws that govern the universe is Dharma. Okay? And those laws are in me already. Not that they come from a book. Remember that. They are in me. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be lied to. I don't want to be, put down. Something in me tells me that I shouldn't be put down. I shouldn't be hurt. And I demand that. That is my requirement. So I need to also consider that desire for Dharma in me, it's already built into me, and it is Ishwara's grace also. And you have the same thing. So I align myself to Ishwara's laws. And when I work with you and live with you and see you and all that stuff, look at this please, I align myself to Ishwara's command. Out of love, not out of fear. Because I feel grace in all situations. Then you become prasad for me. See the idea? So Ishwara is, or God, or the name you want to give it, is a giver. And Ishwara is a universe, and Ishwara is the laws. So for me to seek self-knowledge without taking into account that presence, that magnificent grace, then it's impossible to gain it. Why? Because when the ego-centered is there, the ego-centeredness is there, there will be contraction in me. And when the teaching comes, I'll filter it to that contraction, or it will slide off. It won't do any. It won't reach. Did I talk about this last time? Okay, I'm going to make this comment, please. And this is something that, you see, there's two Sanskrit words that I learned about, and you correct me, if especially you, Ravi, because you know this. One is Ashtra, and the other one is Shastra.
Shastra and Shastra.
Astra and Shastra. Shastra is something you wield. You wield Shastra. Is that right? It's like the pramanas I have, perception, inference, and all that. They are what? Shastras. Is that correct? Shastra means something you wield. And there's Ashtras. Ashtras are the ones that come to me, isn't it? In the Mahabharata war. Okay? There were Shastras and there were Ashtras. Shastras were the weapons, isn't it?
Astra is weapon.
Huh? Astra.
Yeah.
No. But when you did that,
Shastra is weapon.
it's a weapon. It's a weapon that you wield. And Shastra is the projectile that comes to you from a weapon. It could be a sword, or it could be a harikolesa. Once it comes to you, isn't it? Okay. The Vedanta is a pramana. It's called Shabda Pramana. Vak. Isn't it? Through words. To try to know the self, to come to abide in the truth of myself, is impossible because my pramanas are Shastras. In other words, the instruments I can wield, and who wields them? The ego. In other words, the sense of individuality that I have is the one that wields us, and they're all made to go out. Intellect, inference, perception, they're all outward. And here we're trying to know the nature of the truth of myself. And since I am the subject, the ultimate subject, listen please, I am the ultimate subject. In other words, if I am, the aham is a subject. Just like it's consciousness that illumines all the objects, is that right? Just like the eyes are the subject that illumines all the objects. And it is impossible for the eyes to see themselves. They're designed to see everything else except themselves. So the self, being the ultimate subject, is also impossible to use the pramana as a means that we have to know ourselves. So here, the seeker of truth needs to be available to expose himself to the ashtra. You know what the ashtra is? Tattvamasi, you are that. Aham brahmasmi. All of these words, it's shvak, the words that come out are the teaching. And they're not willing, all you do is just be there, available, and expose yourself, and that hits you. In other words, the words become the ashtra. And the guru throws the words, it's a bullet. And you have to be present and available to receive it. And for that, there's supposed to be a ground that is fertile for it to happen. And Ishwara darshan, bhakti, karma yoga and all those things prepare the ground. So there is a role for it, but it has to be in terms of finding out who you are. So this ashtra is wielded by the teacher. And I had to be present, available, exposed for the ashtra to come and hit me, as it were. For that bullet that will actually make me see who I am and allows me to see. It becomes like a mirror. A person, when you want to see yourself, your eyes. People can tell you the color of your eyes and everything else, but it doesn't mean anything until you see them yourself. So you need to have an external means to be able to see them. So the words of the Shastra, in this case, the teacher wields the Shastra, as it were, and he sends the projectile, which are the words, and they become a projectile that hit this mind and become like a mirror that allows you to see yourself. Yes?
So Astra is these teachings, and what is Shastra?
Shastra is whatever your inference and your means of knowledge. Your means of knowledge are the Shastra in this case, in this particular sense. And in the hands of the Guru, that's the Shastra, isn't it? That's his Shastra. In other words, he uses that. He uses the words. But you don't have to do anything. Ultimately, you have to just be available for it. You understand that? This is critical to be understood, because you have to put into context, what is karma yoga? And you have to know that there can be no karma yoga unless you don't appreciate, unless you appreciate the grace. You have to appreciate the grace. Look at how grace you are. Pain is a gift because it allows you to know that there is something that you need to pay attention to. It is built into the mechanisms of the design of a human being for it to have a brain to register pain. And that is an amazing thing. If you cannot have pain, you destroy yourself. So even that, I'm talking even moral pain. moral pain, emotional pain. It means there's some growth to take place. There's something there, It's, my God, I'm so sad, everything. They make me cry all the time and so on. They say, hey, there's some growth, there's something happening. But look at what he did to me. Or look at what he didn't do to me. Fine, but this suffering, which is pain, it just requires, it's just telling you that there's some growth, so you need more understanding. And you take Ishwara into account and all these things. It's not easy to live. We try to take the pain out with pills, isn't it? Physical pain. And we treat the symptoms in physiological ways. But then the emotional pain, we also try to quench it. What? With pills. You know what the pills are? Spending. Spending. Getting rid of. And everything that goes in between. Getting or getting rid of. Those are the pills. The refrigerator, eating. All kinds of different ways for the mind to have a release. A drink, cigarette, relationships. And it won't help. I mean, they are palliatives. You know palliatives? What do? They quench the situation for a little while. But then another desire comes on. A desire means an emptiness. So then the person that seeks is that is a viveki. He finds out that this doesn't supply. It doesn't deliver the goods ultimately. A viveki, someone that discerns this. And then when the pain comes and they're offered a solution through a form or a name or a being, then it sees it for what it is, but not as a solution. So it becomes a vairagi. Vairagi means someone that has what? Detachment. So it feels good, yes, but it's no longer hooked. It becomes a vairagi. Because he develops some viveka, some discrimination. He knows now what he wants. What I'm seeking for is moksha, not just one more sensation. That's the point. So we were looking at Bhakti, and we see it is not separate. We're going to see more about it, but I wanted to bring it into focus because it's been 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks since we met. So I'm going to read the previous. I'm going to read the 2 previous paragraphs. Okay. Now look at this. Thus, there are only 2 yogas. Meaning what? Which yogas? There are only 2 yogas. Which yogas?
Karma and Jnana.
Jnana and karma. And bhakti is common to both of them. All karmas become yoga if they are done keeping Ishwara in view. A yajna, or means a sacrifice, a ritual, is any karma which is done for the sake of Ishwara. Any activity that is done for the sake of the Lord. It can be any ritual, worship, or prayer, each of which involves a special karma performed for the sake of the Lord only, of Ishwara. Bringing up a child is also yajna. Yajna means another sacrifice ritual that becomes a sacred activity. And it's an example of an indirect offering to Ishwara. I'm here in this creation, and the child is my keeping. The child has been given to me as prasada and is to be beloved by me. This is a proper attitude, which is therefore karma yoga. Ishwara is recognized, and the order involved is seen to be Ishwara. Listen please, Ishwara is recognized and the order involved is seen as Ishwara. To see things in this way is not an ordinary situation. A person has to be sensitive so that the order that is Ishwara is as tangible as a wall or a rock. This kind of appreciation is what Bhakti actually means. Now, this thing about, we didn't discuss this, but that this particular attitude, this sensitivity, is going to be as tangible as a wall or a rock. Does anybody have any ideas on that? As tangible as a wall or a rock. The sensitivity. Is still talking about sensitivity?
Yeah. I think it's more relating to the real. It's not a wishy-washy. It has to be tangible. It's to be strong, like an object where you can touch and feel.
I see. Now, let's think about a feeling that is like that. A feeling like that. Sensitivity.
So you have to be sensitive about other people's
All right.
needs.
Yep. Let's just, when I send emails, on the bottom of the email, it says, something about, being available for others and all that, your neighbors and all that. Now watch. But for, to the ones around you, close to you and so on. This sensitivity cannot be there without love. If there's no love, there can be sensitivity. And the love should be so tangible as a wall or a rock, tangible. Honey, do you love me? I think so. Yeah, I think so. Love to the point that I'm willing to give my life for you. You mean so much to me. This is tangible, and there's no question about it. Love for country, love for truth, love for justice, sensitivity. Now, what would be the opposite to that? Insensitivity for the sake of for the fate of the country. All I care is what? What I get, let the country rot. Isn't it? I can say the right things for the sake of getting what I want, and it might sound very patriotic, but all I care is what I get. Is that true?
Oh, yeah.
To vote with the stomach. You know what to vote for the stomach is? If this guy comes in, I get a job. If the guy is a rotten guy, it doesn't matter, but I'll get my job. Okay, now relationships, wife, husband, brother, sister, and all that. I'm always putting you down. And then why do I put you down? Because I think I'm better than you are. And I don't care whether you suffer or not. I just want you to appreciate me for how good I am. And you're no good. You're worthless. You see the idea? Is there sensitivity there?
No.
Does the other person get hurt? Does it hurt? Is it wounded by that attitude? It doesn't have to be spoken. It has nothing to do with it. Isn't it? It has the attitude itself of indifference. And the only difference is me. I'm the only one that makes a difference. You make no difference. Therefore, I don't defer to you. Let's give it a worse. Love, sensitivities, I defer to you. Defer? What does that mean? What do you want? Not what I want. You see, of course I like this one, but I defer to you, meaning, let's do it, kind of a thing. if I'm always going like this, this is just, you say, well, it's on a child even. To just go like this all the time, there's no love. Because I want him to be better. You know, I want my child to be, therefore that's why I beat him up, psychologically or physiologically. Again, for the sake of love, come on, that's not love. All you want, you love is what other things people will think about you because you don't do this or you do that. Or to give a sense of, I am the boss, kind of a thing. And so on and so on. You make me, I'm a zero, and I want you to be the way I want you, because then I'll be something, and so on and so on. All this stuff. So there is no sensitivity there. It's just, it says, and Jesus said in the Bible in Spanish, duros de corazón, hard heart. You know, tough at heart. In other words, it's heart, you know, doesn't go through. So that sensitivity, without that sensitivity, there's no possibility of freedom. Because insensitivity brings about what? Stress. That's the point. And in that stress, then you close up then. So you might have the God himself come down, especially for you. And you crucify him. In what sense? The ashra won't find, how do you call this? The heart. The ashra is like a seed. It has to, well, sprout. When you put a seed on the ground, it's an ashra. And then the ground needs to be fertile for it to sprout. Isn't it? If it is not fertile, Jesus in the Bible said too. He said, don't throw pearls to swine. And this teaching, you know, are pearls, in a sense. So, whose job is it? Is the guru who had to make me better? No, it's up to me. The doctor gives you a medicine, you have to take it. And for that, he says, you know, fast for 24 hours. You fast for 24 hours. Yeah, let's fast for 5 hours. And there's no compromise. So I have to check my heart to see to what degree I'm sensitive, starting with the ones around, because I can be very sensitive to you. You're my friend, you see, and I want to get you as a friend. The ones that are around me, they already have no problem. You know, they have no choice. I got them already. Besides that, it became old. No, the ones around you. That sensitivity has to grow. That sensitivity is called spirituality. And for that, you need to see, look at this, you need to see Ishwara as the order involved itself. There's an order. I have a son, there's an order relationship between son and daughter and father. I have a sister, I have a wife, I have a husband. There's an order, not a command per se. There's an order. It's like jumping rope. There's an order. You have to align to the order. And why do you respect it? Because it's my Lord, the one that graces me with life. So there's some sweetness has to grow in. God doesn't need it, I need it. So there's a lot of bhakti, but then there's also jnana. Jnana means what? Understanding, appropriate viveka, isn't it? So bhakti yoga cannot be separate from karma and jnana. As a matter of fact, you can only rattle the scriptures. And there's no bhakti in you, there's no heart in you. It doesn't do anything. It has to be a marriage between the head and the heart. And then karma yoga becomes real. Otherwise it doesn't. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that into the context right here because he's talking about, he says, a person has to be sensitive so that the order that is Ishwara is as tangible as a wall or a rock. In other words, there's no buts about it. When you come to the stop sign, you know you have to stop. And somebody says, there's no stop sign, just go through. Wait a minute, there could be an accident. It's clear that you don't just run the stop, the corner. There's no cop, I don't care. I'll stop anyway. Okay? This kind of appreciation is what bhakti actually means. Any questions or any comments on this?
The first sentence in the previous paragraph, thus there are only two yajnas, yogas, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Bhakti is common to both. That means that whether you do karma yoga or jnana yoga, which means it's common, means it's more a prerequisite to or it's part of.
There could be no karma yoga unless there's jnana. It has to be understanding. And there's no bhakti unless there's understanding. How can you love something you don't understand, don't know? You see, how can you love something you don't know? And even if you know someone or something, okay, and if that blesses you, how can you not love it? And then how can you not give his heart and your life for that? If you love someone, if you then you give your life for it. You dedicate. So this action, it's just, it goes all in one.
Aligning yourself.
Oh yeah, the whole thing. So you have to understand something in order to love it, and once you love it, you cannot help but serve it. That's what the sevak or sevika comes from. Seva, and seva means service. Seva is synonymous to love. There can be no seva without love. And the love is not just for the seva, the love is for the Lord, to whom, as Jesus said, when you feed the hungry, you're feeding me. When you clothe the one that has no clothes, you're clothing me. When you heal the one that is sick, you're healing me. You see the Lord everywhere. It's called Ishwara darshan. Ishwara darshan is not to go to a temple, open a thing, close it, and just go next door. Yeah, that's called Ishwara darshan, to see the Lord everywhere. And when you do this mudra, and you say, what do you say that? When you say this, Indians say that what?
Namaste.
Namaste. You mean it. Because you're seeing your beloved everywhere. And the guy could be a crook. Isn't it? He doesn't have to be a priest, he can be a crook. And the namaste is meaningful. Why? Because even though he knows that you know it, and your relationship becomes what? As free of bias as possible. You become just. You might still put him in the poker. Is what, but there is no in it. It's what do you call that? Desire to, I'll mess him up. Yeah, that's what happens. So anyway, that's where we left off last week. Very good question, very good. It has to be all in line. In other words, knowledge brings love naturally creates karma, yoga. Alright? Okay, so the next one, who wants to read the first part?
Read it.
Okay, go ahead please.
The real meaning of bhakti. Bhakti is not just chanting, although chanting is also bhakti. It is the appreciation of Ishwara and the order. This appreciation is what makes you sensitive and gives meaning to your life. Recognizing Ishwara is to be able to see more than meets the eye, more than what the eye sees. Bhakti is an appreciation of what is behind and what is in front, the order within the order, seeing everything as Ishwara. And this is also exactly what is meant by Karma Yoga.
Right, let's make a little pause here. Anybody wants to comment on that or question that? Does it make sense? what does it say? What does it say? This appreciation is what makes you sensitive and gives meaning to life. How fun is it? You know, I say meaning to life is, I say, how fun is it to play cricket? You know, you guys play cricket or football without knowing what the heck the game is about. You talk to this and to that, you do it. What fun is there in it? There's no fun, right? So at the end of the day, you've played how many hours? You guys played many hours. How many hours do you play cricket each of the game?
It goes a long time.
Is there any shoving and pushing and all that stuff there? Is there? No? Like in football, but still, you gotta go around all over the place.
You're chasing a white or a red ball.
Right.
After you bat hits the ball and okay.
That's right. So let's suppose they give you a uniform and put you in there, you know, and then you don't know what the heck is going on. You play all these hours.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you go home exhausted.
Yep.
And what's the other one? I don't know. You want to go again? I don't know. Well, they told me to. I should come. There's no meaning to it, isn't it? So the whole thing is Ishwara's sport, lila. Is that what they call it?
Leela, yeah. Yeah.
The whole thing is the Lord's play.
There you go.
He's a playwright, as you will.
Yeah.
Is that right? That's what it is, right?
We are playmates.
And then we're the playmates, isn't it? But we don't know what the heck we're doing. We figure that this is what we're supposed to do. But at the end, you know, we end up ending because we really don't understand the whole thing. So there's no meaning to it. You know, let's suppose somebody strikes, I don't know how you have, in cricket, do you have goals when finally you make a goal? No. You're supposed to make goals? How do you score?
The
Yeah.
run.
Well,
There's
It's like a baseball.
It's like baseball,
More
okay.
like a baseball.
All right, it's like a baseball. So you hit a home run.
yeah.
You don't know what happened. So everybody's jumping around for the guy that hit it, okay? Is that doesn't do anything for you? It doesn't do anything for you. It's like playing, how do you call this, bowling, and somebody has to tell you the score, and you just keep on throwing the ball. There's no meaning to it.
Yeah.
So in other words, here, I focus on those words because when you say meaning to life, what does it mean by meaning to life? You gotta have fun, my God. Has to put it in a perspective that makes sense to you. If it doesn't make sense to you, it makes sense to somebody else and tells you what to do and what to believe and so on, how to act. The moment the guy turns around, you do whatever you feel like. And you get in trouble for it too. So he says, Bhakti is not just chanting. Although chanting is also Bhakti. It is an appreciation of Ishwara and the order. You see, the order is what? The rules of the game. The game. And we don't see it as a game. Do we see life as a game? We don't see life as a game. No, we all gotta go to work. I'll tell you, I'll see you the weekend. Maybe the weather will be okay. So, but then I gotta do this. I gotta do that. It's a chore. It's a burden, isn't it? So there's no enthusiasm. That's the point. There's no meaning to it. This appreciation is what makes you sensitive and gives meaning to your life. This appreciation is recognizing Ishwara is to be able to see more than the eyes meet. So the whole thing is a miracle. The physicist understands. You see, I see walls. But I see all these electrons and protons and all these atoms doing the thing and creating the cohesiveness of the thing doesn't fly away, it stays here and so on and so on. And that is amazing. You see a flower, you don't see the colors. You go beyond it. The photosynthesis and the chlorophyll process and the whole thing, and that's amazing, my God. You see a human being, and he or she moves, or I move, and I see that there's a wonder. That's something, that's understanding, and that gives some kind of kick. But then, when you then recognize Ishwara as the forms, and your eyes tell you something, separation, but then you see him only, that's all there is. And you see more than the form. That is a life lived. Makes a big difference. So he says, recognizing Ishwara is to be able to see more than the eyes meet, more than the eyes see. Bhakti is an appreciation of what is behind and what is in front. The order within the order, seeing everything as Ishwara. Do you see that in a, when we go to see a movie, if you watch on TV or whatever, we see a movie. So we see the action going on, talking and all that stuff, and embracing or kissing or fighting and all, whatever. Okay, so there's motion and all that. But isn't it fun to sometimes think about the playwright that put the whole scheme together? My God, this guy, how did he figure it out? How did he create this thing to work as the plot? So you see all the stuff that goes on. And it seems like it's a mess, the whole thing, emotionally you get so involved in. But then you see the content of it. The content meaning that which makes it possible. Now, do you know of all the movies they show, in the theaters, hundreds more were made and will never be seen? For that one movie to come up, also, the producers, yeah. They got it in cans, they just store them and they never come out. Sometimes 20, 30 years later, sometimes somebody finds them and it becomes a relic. But even the process of coming up with a film, you see more than that. So it's not just that it came out. I mean, there's a whole lot of work behind it. The traveling of the artists and this and that, and the setting up and the lights and, all this stuff you had to see. You see that, I remember that we saw that movie, I think you guys saw it too. I think the Planet Earth. You can remember the Planet Earth movie?
Yeah.
Now, think of what it took in terms of time, effort, and luck to see that, it wasn't a whale, it was a shark. Come out and fly in the water and catch the, how do you call this, seal. Remember that? And the shark came out and this guy caught it. It's no small thing to do that. Just in terms of just the movie itself. But then the wonder of nature, in which these amazing animals, the predators, and and fulfilling themselves, and then having these abilities, and this is because they actually work in teams and so on and so on. All this stuff. And they didn't go to school for that. It is designed into their nature by the great designer. So it's to see that stuff, Yes, of course you see the emotions that you do, but you see beyond the thing. That's why Swamiji used to get high by just doing this. Amazing. Yeah. He used to do that. I've seen it a few times. I don't know if you ever saw that. He used to go like this. And it is just, it's Ishwara's darshan. He was seeing Ishwara. That's called meditation. That is called, what do you call it? Samadhi. That's called samadhi. There's no form anymore. There's no form anymore. All there is the truth. it's called nirvikalpa. Forget about the form. That which cannot be seen. No kalpa. That's sensitivity. So to gain this knowledge, that sensitivity is necessary. To be able to get meaning, to squeeze the juice out of life. Yeah. This is, and this is also exactly what is meant by karma yoga. Continue reading, please.
By any karma, you are either directly or indirectly related to Ishwara. Karma involves role-playing. Something is expected of you. This action is to be done by you because you are placed in this situation. Therefore, you do it. This is how Ishwara's karma works. Otherwise, why are you in this place at this time? Why are you not elsewhere? There is a meaning here. You are in this place at this time because there is something to be done by you. This is the law of karma.
In other words, there's no mistake.
So
Even if you miss a train. Even if you miss a train.
Right. But you see, what you have said, this is interesting. Oh, it means then I have to do it. Well, you see, it's not necessarily planned for you.
No?
Huh?
Isn't it like a plan then?
Is it a plan? Now look at it. Whose plan?
God's
God.
again.
So the guy is planning, okay, let me see, let me put her here, let me take this guy out of here. Is that, see, because that could be it. Well, let me see what God wants. Oh, he put me here. He might want me to be here. I mean, it's okay to think in some way like that because it happens a lot. Okay, what is the meaning of this? Okay, well, God put me here. Okay, God, what do you want? Okay, why did you put me here? Okay, so, oh God, why did you put me here in the first place? I didn't want to be here. Okay, so God doesn't put anyone anywhere. Here's the thing. This is the interesting part. Because that becomes fatalism. Everything is planned for me, so I have no say. Well, wait a minute.
Yeah, like with China earthquake.
Yeah.
Says God's
Yeah. He's not willing. Let's just kill 50,000 people this time. Just to make it. He's not doing that, my God. He's not like a director saying like that. Now watch. We can look at him like that when we personify God. We make anthropological kind of a thing. Anthropomorphize him. That's the right word? Oh my God, I get all these Sunday words sometimes. No, look at this. There's rules, there's universal laws. And those laws are perfect. And it is your buddhi and your will applied that creates a direction. Listen. And you might think, according to your buddhi, that direction is what you want. Okay? And it is the direction you want, but it is a direction that you think that the results that are going to come out is in that particular direction. I'm just making this up as I go along. Watch this. So, we function and act according to what we believe. It could be according to our understanding, or if not, it's according to our urges, please. And most of the time, it's the urges rule the understanding, right? Urges. You know what I mean by urges, right? Desires. So likes and dislikes rule. Now, living by likes and dislikes, of course, every action has a reaction.
Yes.
And the reaction will be always in kind of the action. Okay? If I jump, I won't fall. I won't go into the ground. In other words, jumping is going up. Jumping is not going down. In other words, it's a different thing. In other words, if I throw a ball over there, it won't go over here. Every action, if I went in that direction, the ball will go in that direction. So my life and your life and everybody's life is guided by your likes and dislikes. And then, if you want to say God is very kind, He obeys exactly what you want. You know, if you want to make a person out of God, He obeys exactly what you want. He said, what? God obeys me? Yes, He obeys you. In other words, the laws of the universe, electricity. Let's just put it this way. You foolish, you think you're going to connect this and they're going to connect that and go that. Why? Because you want to watch a stereo, this and that. Besides, you want to have a television here. And then besides, you want to have your computer. And I have to have a heater and also a microwave. And you put them all in one, how do you call this? Plug. Electricity will just give you that. Because it's supposed to give you that. But according to His law, all of a sudden, you have no house. Did the electricity take away your house? I'm going to take this guy's house away. No, you did it. Why? You overloaded the circuit. You did it. Now you're on the street. You don't even have furniture or anything. Everything's gone. And there was no insurance. Because you tried to save money as another action. Okay? So you don't blame the insurance company and so on and so on.
Then you blame God.
That's right. So we have we're placing ourselves exactly where we directed ourselves to. Now, if there would have been some wisdom, let's suppose I don't know about electricity. No, I'm talking about the same example. And I want to have all this stuff, you know, microwave and TV and computer and all that stuff. And I know I can do it because there's all these, how do you call those things, extensions and all that stuff. You put one and after the other, all these extensions. But then I had to wonder, look at this, I had to wonder, is that going to work? I know that it will work because electricity does provide, but what's going to happen? I had to wonder, I had to question. But I want to see TV right now. I said, wait a minute, I know I want to see TV right now. Let's just do some little bit of thinking. And then I called my friend Ravi. And I give him, said, Louis, don't do that. Now I took an action. And then my house didn't burn down. It was because, oh, God was good to me. The electricity was good to me. No. I took the correct action. I went beyond my likes and dislikes, my wishes and desires, and I took I want to align myself to what? To the laws of electricity. That's the Lord to me. So in the same way, a person that has this vision, gets a perspective of what life is all about, and if he has a question about it, then Shastra is there. It's called the Yoga, Vedanta says Yoga Shastra also. Something you can wield so you can actually get the information that ravis of the world, you have to call it, or whoever that knows about electricity. So, my life is exactly the way it's supposed to be, whether I like it or not, based on the laws of the universe, please.
So it is my karma.
Yes.
That bring the
Along with, and look at this please, not just yours, along with the aggregate of the karmas of all other things. Because it is not just your karmas, isn't it? What happens is when an earthquake comes, you have nothing to do with it. What about if somebody shoots somebody else? Remember that boy over in Oakland? He was out there to play piano. And this fool out there goes and shoots the bullet, and he misses somebody, and then the bullet goes to the wall of a building across the street, and makes the boy never able to walk anymore. Did he create that? He walked over there, he stayed right there, and then he happened to be in the wrong place in the wrong time, so it's not his karma, it's the abuse of somebody's free will. So there's all of these factors, you see. There's all these factors, so you cannot say, oh, the boy, you know, God's will is that he wouldn't work, live anymore. Wait a minute. There's other laws available. But this is where you are. This is a situation, And you take it as it is. Krishna is telling Arjuna that. Why? Because he is Arjuna in the midst of a battlefield. And he doesn't want to be there. He wants to go and find a hill someplace with a cave in it and spend the rest of his life and meditate. He said, wait a minute. This is where you came. That's what you prepare yourself to. This is where life put you. Now deal with it. Face it. That's what he's saying right here. He says, by any karma, you're either directly or indirectly related to Ishwara. Why? Because of those. Karma involves role playing. Something is expected of you in the moment, now, here. There's nothing else in the past. Past doesn't exist. Future doesn't exist. The only thing that means anything is right here, now. How I meet it. Then he says, and then something is expected of you. This action is to be done by you because you are placed in this situation. Not that you place yourself because of the loss of karma. He says, therefore, you do it. And then, how do you do it? Now, I want to say this. According, again, to Dharma. You do it. You perform according to Dharma. Dharma is what? The order of the moment. Okay? This is how Ishwara's karma works. Otherwise, why are you in this place at this time? Why are you not elsewhere? Why am I not in Sunnyvale right now? Well, because I came to Concord. I can't be anywhere else. I took due north, so I'm not south, I'm north. So this is where I am. So I act according to north. They say, oh, I don't want to be here. Well, just go back. But you cannot change the fact. To be here now is what it is. The only thing there is. Therefore, why are you not there? This is a meaning here. There is a meaning here. You are in this place at this time because there is something to be done by you. This is the law of karma. And you just surrender to it. This is what it is. See, suffering comes out of contraction. The heat is not a problem. The cold is not a problem. What happened is not a problem. What didn't happen is not a problem. It's how you took it. Of course, the stocks went down, and it is a problem financially. But that's one thing. That's empirical. But the subjective contraction that creates, no. I said, wait, it happened. No, deal with it. That's why executives are good CEOs, are people that can take the mess and accept it and go on and do whatever is necessary to resolve the problem. Mothers are the same way. You know, they're executives. And say, okay, fine, the thing got burned, let's do something else. You know, he's coming or whatever it is. And then you go to the store and buy some food, whatever you need to do, solve the problem, face it. But you go on and on and on and on. He's not the way I want him to be. I wish it would have been different. I say, wait a minute, that's the way it is. Just deal with it the best way you can in a constructive way. See the idea? My mind is not, well, what do you expect? Garbage in, garbage out. Deal with it. That's the thing. That's a law of karma. Now, why do I have the mind I have? Why not? It obeys to a logic. I'm talking about the mind. It obeys to a... No, because what they did to me, and all that, well, of course, you were childish, and you took it like this. You distorted the reality, and now you're suffering the consequences. Straighten up. In other words, see things as they are. Stop living in a subjective world. Because that's what it is. It causes all the suffering. Because to constantly be living in a subjective world. Say, wish you didn't poke your nose. Well, you poked your nose before, well, that's still poking your nose still, well, what are you going to do? Can't change that, and so on, whatever. So anyway, so this is the law of karma. Continue on, please. You see?
I had a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Last sentence. When you say this is the law of karma, and then in previous sentences, Ishwara plays a role in the process.
Mm-hmm.
how do you link Ishwara and the law of karma such a way that does the reality of the world as they are, which is partly a law of karma, and you invoke Ishwara into the thing, does it really means it's more or less gives you an escape hatch that it's Ishwara's doing?
That's the thing that we were talking originally. No, it's not that, you see. You have to know, you have to take responsibility in some way. Not that you blame yourself.
But that is generally
Yeah.
said, right?
God told me here.
That's God.
Yeah, because, yeah.
Things. What about the fate?
Just think about God as a set of rules and laws and that make the universe function. That includes your actions and then the aggregate of all the other actions. Now, of those you have no knowledge, isn't it? Because you have no way of, there's no computer in the world that can actually say what all the different things will be. Even sometimes people have computers that go into the stock market. They don't know what really is going to, how it's going to react because there's so many factors. And so they can make a guess for the futures and all that kind of stuff. They make a guess. So the same way here, you have to actually then take into account not only that it is your pravda in some way, but it's also the laws of the universe manifesting.
So it is not the karma that you are doing now, it is also the, as you said, prarabdha, right? The past karma.
Yeah, right.
So they play a part, right?
Oh yeah, they play a part.
Yeah.
That's right. What's manifesting, you see, what manifests is not a problem either. It's manifesting, period. Okay, so it is there. And then, of course, that you meet situations. It's not what you do, it's how you meet them. And then what you and I are learning, what this learning is about, is to take them with an attitude of taking Ishwara into account. That is why, as a jiva being ignorant, because we cannot know it all, only God is all-knowing. Okay, we're not all powerful, only God is all powerful. So then we have to surrender to God. There has to be some, what do you call this, some connection. There's a word in Sanskrit called asti. Asti. And what does this asti means? It's an astika. Astika means someone that is a believer. So it recognizes Ishwara's presence and so on, and you surrender to that. And you know that the results that come to you have nothing to do with you, you take them as prasad. And for that means you take it into account. And then, of course, then if they didn't come out the way you want to, and so you take into account, if you can do it better, you try to do it better. But without taking this thing here that I am the doer, it is Ishwara's prasad. So there is no, I say this, defeatism there. It's not defeatism. Well, I'm at the mercy. You have a choice in how you meet the situations.
I think the basic question I had in the last sentence was, when is the law of karma? If you define the law is in the real world is more a structure.
Yeah.
Is that the way you look at it? Law is always a structure that has got,
What you sow is what you're going to reap.
Right.
That's exactly the same way. What you sow is what you're going to reap. Okay. Now, and then of course I said originally that it's not just only what you sow, but what's around you. Now, that which is around you have no control of. Then to that you surrender. So so it is impossible to know exactly all the mechanisms of all karma, but it's very simple in this particular way. I cannot control the universe, but I can definitely stop being subjective about it. And then, in order for me to be subjective, I need to get some knowledge of what this is about, and what the purpose of my life is, who I really am. And then use the law. If before it made me, because I used to live based on likes and dislikes, and it created a pit for me. And it has to do with the mind. then I can take the same law of karma and I can start getting new knowledge, new understanding, wisdom as you call, and then start working myself out of the pit because of the same law. Because what brings me, a stairway can bring you down and a stairway can bring you up. And this is, for example, of the mind. So then you use the same law and then now you start changing the seeds. Swamiji used to call these vasanas. You know, the vasanas. They create what they call this particular block that prevents you from seeing yourself. And these vasanas, you know, we keep adding to them, and so it becomes as a vicious circle. But if you understand the law of karma, then what it is, then you start planting new seeds. And that vasana field, if you want to call it, that was full of what do you call this, weeds, poisonous weeds and everything else that got you into trouble and made you suffer so much and put you where you are, where you don't want to be, but this is where you are. Then you start now creating a whole new set of vasanas. So rituals and ceremonies can be seen as that, because not only do they affect the psyche of the person, but it also kind of settles a whole lot of accounts that are pending in the vasana field, as you were, which is invisible to you. And then you pray that they will come out. That's why we pray at the beginning of the class. We invoke Ishwara. A Vedanta class cannot start without prayer. We have to take Ishwara into account. And the teacher and the taught, they both pray. May we not quarrel with each other. May this meeting be, you know, propitious, you know, and also that we can actually get benefit from it. And then that benefit may not just stay with us, may also, you know, benefit those around us and so on. It is a prayer, and we don't know where it's going to go. Maybe in this particular satsang, then the ashtra will hit its target. And when the target is there, may the target be prepared, exposed. The target is the mind, so that the knowledge can come, and so on. I don't know if I'll answer the question, but anyway.
Well, I think the point that I was trying to drive it is the person will take action or make decisions. A lot of it is either immediate decision or a delayed decision. Everything has its own, you know, results.
Yeah.
Sometimes the delayed decision has a bad result, delayed decision has a good result.
Right.
Immediate decision has a good result or a bad result. So,
we're not talking about so much about the results and what kind of results. We're talking about the attitude that we bring into the picture for the moment here now. Because when you think about results and everything else, fine, you need to think about your results whenever you perform an action. But more than anything else is what attitude I have. You know, who's meaning the circumstance? Is it a mind that is committed to feel good and all that stuff, or is it a mind that wants to do what is right? And then, you know, for whose sake? For the sake of Ishwara. You dedicate your actions unto Him. Now, it is not very easy to develop that attitude because we don't have a relationship with the Lord as we should, as I would with a person that allowed me to use this home for 2 weeks with no money and with food in the refrigerator. And I cannot help it every time I pick up a Coke out of the refrigerator to remember that it's because of my host's blessing, grace. But that can grow in the person. And that is necessary for it to grow, to recognize Ishwara and everything. And so when you respond to the situation, because it is a gift, it is a Coke, as you were, like a Coca-Cola, or whatever you're getting, the light went on, and that's wow, he even paid the bill for the electricity, and so on and so on. So you're constantly, your mind is behind the guy that gave you this. You enjoy it. But don't forget that it is because of somebody's grace. That attitude is, and then when you perform, when you live here, then you try to live it better than when you pick it up. But there is gratitude right behind it, and there is love. And then, of course, that gives the energy to perform actions that is taken into account to live things the way they were, or better even, and so on. You see the idea? So there's It's not a fixation, but there's a focus on what is now here. And you take that as Ishwara's darshan, Ishwara's prasad. And that needs to grow in each one of us, that sensitivity. And we require it. Many people get sick because they don't have this. A lot of diseases have to do because people are always grouchy, and they don't see, what do you call this, like babies. This is also good, always thinking of that. And there is no space, as it were, in their hearts to appreciate. To appreciate, to have company is an amazing thing. As a company, to be accompanied in the life of someone, or to have been accompanied by someone in life, it's a blessing. Every moment is His grace. But if I don't appreciate it, I'm gonna get sick. It is supposed healthy in body, possibly. I exercise and I eat my vitamins, but I'm miserable. I'm sick. I'm not living. So the appreciation of Ishwara, to see beyond the form, beyond what is there, beyond what the eye see. That sensitivity needs to be developed. Now, of course, the results and all that, they take care of themselves. Don't worry about it. Isn't it? You plant a seed, you have nothing to do with it. Just take care of it, and automatically, whatever is gonna come out, it will sprout. You cannot make it sprout the way you want to. You will sprout at its own time. I think I sent you an email about that. Things happen at their own rate. And then trying to make them be different. All it does is bring bitterness and anger and disappointments and anguish and so on and so on and so on. Guilt or resentments. Isn't it? If my life is ruled by resentments and I'm always angry, then I got a problem. I'm not appreciating. Okay, now I'm going to read the next one. You see that there is a meaning and that the situation is not a random one. Everything seems to have a cause and an effect. There is no randomness in the creation. To use Einstein's words, the Lord does not play dice. Even if He did, being omniscient, He would know exactly how they were going to fall. Otherwise, He would not be Ishwara. Therefore, He has no need to play dice. Situations do not happen randomly. They happen because they have to happen. If this is understood, you will find that everything, even relationships, become meaningful. They happen because they have to happen. It obeys to laws. There's a logic behind everything. Now that you don't see the logic, that's a different story. Is that right? If you don't see the logic, it's a different story. I exercise, I ate well, I had a nice, and all of a sudden I had this thing here, a disease. Hey, wait a minute, I did all this stuff, well, good. There's no logic to it. There's a logic to it. It could be DNA, it could be genes, it could be, or exposure to some
chemicals.
Whatever it was, and you were not aware. The fact that you don't know it doesn't mean you shouldn't be there. It's there because it's there. So you deal with it, take care of it, face it, accept it, and go on. But no, we get stuck. No, it shouldn't happen. We just make out of a little, we make a big thing, we just blow up. So he says, to worship the Lord by doing what is to be done by you definitely requires that you see more than the eyes can see. You have to appreciate what is beyond the hands that perform the action. Not merely the desire, but what is behind the desire. You should appreciate that the desire itself is born of Ishwara. This kind of appreciation is Bhakti. In this way, the performer of action worships the Lord indirectly. The performer of action worships the Lord indirectly. Remember the meditation that we did here before we started? What was the point of the meditation? What was the focus of the meditation this evening? And we said that he would have thoughts, isn't it? And we had that the thought is a nama rupa, a name and a form, and then there is this awareness which is silence. And this silence is the truth, satyam. And then this nama rupa is mithya, meaning what is apparent, as a limited existence. Before the thought comes, consciousness is there. When a thought rises, consciousness is there. It's because of His grace. And then when the thought goes down and dissolves, consciousness is there. This consciousness is Brahman, Ishwara. So every desire is nothing but God disguised. It is because of His grace that you can desire. As a matter of fact, desire is a privilege. And you are enjoying the privilege. Desire here can be seen as a privilege. It is God's possibility. It's within the realms of possibility. The problem is when you're ruled by desire only, and so on. So you need to appreciate Ishwara, even in that. Now that is called Bhakti. And then act on based upon that. Then it goes Karma Yoga. So a desire is a thought. And where does a thought occur? Okay? A wave rises. Where does it rise if it is not in the body of the Lord called ocean? Is that right? And it is because of His grace that it rises. And it is sustained by the Lord ocean. Isn't it? Sustained by the Lord's ocean. And then it dissolves because of into the Lord ocean is because of the loss of the ocean. So every form, here you are, Ravi, and here you are, and here you are, and here you are, it's just like this wave, the manifested. And that is Ishwara's blessing. And it's sustained by Ishwara. Even the thoughts and the feelings and everything are Ishwara manifested. And when it dissolves into, again, the body goes back to the ground, it's just because of the Lord. That's why they have the Brahma, Vishnu, and Parameshwara. Is that?